When did I realise I had a problem with alcohol? I knew, to be honest, in my late 20s. And I'll go through a particular incident, or incidents, which happened to me regarding getting to work, really. And I remember having a couple of days off, and I was hitting the booze regularly. Didn't have any children at the time. Just me and my ex-wife. Lived in a quite nice place called Epping. I didn't have to get I didn't have to drive into work, but I used to just get the underground in. And I was a police officer in the West End of London, having a great life, enjoying my work, and had enough money to get by and all that sort of thing. Lived in a decent area, was fit. And I remember just being a regular drinker. For a couple of days I had off, I used to drink a bit more. This particular day, it was around the time Riverdance came out. I remember that, I remember the song in particular. And I used to get the underground from Epping into Oxford Circus. It took about 55 minutes. And I remember starting on the platform. I was going in for late, which started at 2:30 p.m. And I was starting on the platform about 1 o'clock. It's giving me enough time to get in to work and then get down Regent Street, turn to New Belling Street, and then go into Savile Row where the police station was. West End Central, very famous place. Great place to be. And there weren't many people on the platform. There being not that time of day. It gets busy in the morning. I started to feel a little bit dizzy. I don't know why I felt dizzy. I think, just a bit out of sorts, you know. I thought, a bit strange this. Anyway, I got on the train. A lot of the train, until you get into the centre of London, it was overground, which isn't too bad. And then as soon as I went down underground, I thought I feel really anxious. First time I'd ever felt anxious in my life. And I started to have these sorts of what I thought was slight panic attacks. And I started to sweat quite a lot on a train. And I thought everyone was looking at me. You know, you get the paranoia sets in. It's weird, isn't it? If you've got anxiety with alcohol, you know what I mean. And I thought, well, just distract myself, I'm going to put some music on. I put this music on, there was Riverdance, some tune on there, and this old iPad thing, Pod, or whatever I had, a long time ago now. And I got off the other end, and I felt really claustrophobic all the way. And I thought, I've got to get out of the station. Never had this sort of panic before, you know. And I got out of the station, I felt terrible. Got a bit of fresh air at the top, I feel worse. I thought, God, I've got to go to work. And I pulled myself together. I felt pretty dismal all day, to be honest. I put it down to the fact that maybe I was just tired and all this sort of thing, you know. Anyway, about 10:20 came at night. I thought, well, I've got to have a few drinks. So finished at work and then went over to the pub called the Red Lion, the Sam Smith's pub in Kingley Street, which is just behind Hamley's Toy Shop, if anybody knows London. And as soon as I had a couple of pints, I felt better. I thought, wow, it's a bit strange, isn't it? Anyway, the next day, the same thing happened. Feeling a bit nauseous, a bit not unwell, really. I thought, I'm not drinking that much. Can't be down at the drink, must be something else. And every time I got on the underground, I started to feel really, really unwell. But I was drinking, as I said, regularly. And I noticed it creeping up on me a little bit. And I mentioned to my ex-wife when she dragged me to the doctors. I didn't go into great deal. You know, when you go to the doctors, you don't tell them what you're drinking. You say 5 when you're drinking 15, you know. Anyway, they said, well, just cut down a bit. As you always do, you know, to moderate. You don't moderate for heroin, but you will moderate for alcohol. Because doctors drink it all, you know. And I'll slow down a little bit, but I didn't. Not many people can actually taper off and slow down, moderate. And then I noticed a few other things creeping in. When I was driving, I used to come up north and drive up the A1. And every time I was on the motorway, I used to feel a little bit, being a bit panicky. Oh, I can't get off the motorway in case anything happens. I thought it was I don't know, it was a fainting attack or something. Only in my late 20s, I was reasonably fit then, but as time went on, I thought this hangover thing is starting to go into anxiety as well. Now it's called anxiety, isn't it? I tried to keep a lid on it for a long period of time, cutting down a little bit on the booze, and then it just built up again. And I knew then I was in trouble, you know. But I carried on for a long, long time in trouble and tried to get through each day. And I did. I managed. I was a functioning alcoholic, although I don't believe in that, as in you can't be functioning 100%. I didn't have a problem at work, I just felt unwell. And I used to get hurt to drive a bit more, domestic problems were creeping in, and my daughter was born, and I just didn't have any time to rest in. But the underground became such a problem that it used to take me about an hour, like I said, to get into Oxford Circus. I started to get a couple of buses in. It took me much longer. I used to get a little bit of the overground train, then get off. I think it was Stratford or somewhere, get a bus in, and another bus through the City of London and all that. And the pressure of me having these panic attacks and worrying about things, and it became so bad that my life was seemed to be controlled by alcohol by then. And as I said, I didn't get much rest then, and things build up a little bit more, makes it worse, and so I drank a bit more to try and stave that off. I used to take a lot of annual leave early in the year, this sort of thing, and then the odd, sick day would creep in, and I knew I had a major problem, and I just didn't think about medication at the time. So what I did was I came up to the northeast, I took a few days annual leave, and I thought I'd just stop, but I knew it was going to be hard. And I had seizures then, and I was admitted to hospital, and they gave me some diazepam. That seemed to cure me for a few years, and then eventually I retired from the police and I got divorced, and then the whole story begins when I got seriously ill with the alcohol. But you'll know when you've got a problem. I never forget that day in the underground. I never forget it as long as I live, because there was 2 or 3 people on the platform. Really sunny day, and I was really quite warm. It should have been a pleasant day to go to work, and I had no issues at work. I was just being promoted, and I thought, everything's good, nice house. And then suddenly it just hit me that, God, I don't feel well. And I think a lot of people will get the same sort of feeling. It'll creep up on you. It's not until something happens like that, and you can look back now. I can look back and think, yeah, I can pinpoint that now. I can pinpoint when it started to become a problem. And there's always a point where you think, I can't do that anymore. I couldn't travel in the underground. And then I started to have problems flying, and I started driving on straight roads, motorways and dual carriageways. It's incredibly bad, isn't it? And I noticed a few other people that I used to work with, I noticed they were similar to me. A little bit edgy in the morning and early too. A little bit shaky when I look back, and maybe not chatty. I mean, I'm chatty all the time now, 24/7, I'm sober. But when you're drinking too much, you're sort of fighting this withdrawal, aren't you? Or fighting the hangovers. And the hangovers become withdrawal, and you're sort of working through that. And you just want your day to finish so you can go and have another drink. Because it's your medicine, isn't it, in a way? But I bet all of you can pinpoint a time, maybe not an exact journey or an exact day, but a time around when you felt that this anxiety was creeping in, and when you know that you had a problem, when you find out you have got a problem. And that's frightening, because I should have put the brakes on many, many years before I got seriously ill. And each time I came off the booze and relapsed again, it was worse, So be mindful of this. If you're a bit younger, maybe it doesn't matter what age you are. If you're starting to feel a bit rough with it all, past hangover's a bit like, dry mouth, bit of a headache. When you're starting to feel a bit withdrawal, as in like faint, a bit more nauseous, feeling a bit rough, not being able to remember things, not being able to think straight, dizziness, not being able to do what you used to do, then that's when you've got to get some help. I wish I had younger. I really do. But just think about that and think, when did it happen? Maybe it hasn't happened yet, but when it does, or if it already has happened, then get some assistance. You can contact me. I've got a lot of videos on the channel. I do one-to-one mentoring as well. And all the links in the video on the description part. I also do lives. I'm going to do a live tonight as well. We'll have a chat about their lives and how alcohol's affected them, all this sort of thing. And hopefully I'll speak to you all later.